Hey, so good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. This is Alan Burgos from the hashtag WokwithLan channel. Welcome and welcome back to our channel. All right, so let us honor first our subscribers. They are now 3,715, no? As last time, check ko lang, no? So konti na lang guys, no? Konti na lang. We are now road to 4,000 subscribers. All right, so thank you very much. Keep on surviving, keep on subscribing. All right, so this time around, we will be discussing about Republic Act 10173 or the Data Privacy Act, no? So na-discuss na natin yung 75, no? 10175, which is the cybercrime law of the Philippines, no? This time around, we will be discussing about the Data Privacy Act of 2012. So start natin yan. Okay? So yan yun. Yan yung official Republic Act, no? 10173. No? It was done, it was passed last 15 Congress. 18 Congress na tayo guys, ha? So, ayan. Nag-start sila ng 25th of July na approve ito, na-sign na nito ng August. August of 2016 if I'm not mistaken, no? Ayan, Republic Act number 10173. Okay, ito yung long name niya talaga, no? An act protecting individual personal information in information and communication systems in the government and the private sector, creating for this purpose a National Privacy Commission and for other purpose. So nakasaad na rin dito sa batas ang pagtatayo, pag-organize ng isang ng isang attached agency, office, National Privacy Commission, na naka-assign naman ito, naka-attach ito sa DICT or Department of Information and Communications Technology. Okay? Now, yan, approved, being enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the Philippines in Congress assembled. Okay? So, this video, i-discuss lang muna natin yung Chapter 1 sa mga susunod na araw or sa mga susunod na oras. Okay, baka pwede nating i-discuss yung ibang chapters, no? Ito, yung chapter 1, general provisions, no? Section 1, kung may long title tayo, long title, ito yung short title natin. Short title, this act shall be known as the Data Privacy Act of 2012, no? Ayan. Data Privacy Act of 2012. Section 2, Declaration of Policy. Declaration of Policy. It is the policy of the state to protect the fundamental human right of privacy. Actually, yung fundamental human right of privacy, it is guaranteed in our Constitution yan eh. Nakaguarantee yan that the privacy, this is a human right, no? Karapatan talaga natin yan. Guaranteed by the Constitution, no? Of communication while ensuring free flow of information to promote innovation and growth. The state recognizes the vital role of information and communications technology in nation building and its inherent obligation to ensure that the personal information in information and communication systems in the government and in the private sector are secured and protected. Okay? Yan yun ha. Ibig sabihin, yan, to ensure that the personal information in information and communication systems in the government, in the private sector are protected. No? So yung guaranteed the constitutional right of privacy, ginagarantiyahan nito, no? Ng batas na ito, no? With that, no? So yan. Okay, now let's go do sa section 3, definition of terms, para naman maging familiar tayo, no? Now guys, no, disclaimer, ito hindi natin na ito yung point of view ng lawyer, no? Kasi I'm not a lawyer naman. Hopefully, no, we can enroll, no? Or something like that in the future kung merong panahon pa. Pero ito natin yung point of view of a consumer, point of view of an IT professional, an academician, for instance. Okay? All right. Whenever using this act, the following terms should have the respective meanings hereafter set forth. So, kung ano yung interpretation natin later on sa mga provisions, lagi tayong babalik dito, no? Parang yung sa anti-cybercrime law, ay yung cybercrime law, di ba? Bumabalik tayo, kunwari, yung crime is has been used with the help of a computer. Pero ano ba ang computer, no? Baka kasi cellphone lang yan, no? Cellphone na analog, something like that. Maybe that device is not considered a computer, no? Ano nga ba definition? Babalik ka doon sa definition of terms. All right. Letter A, commission, no? Yung commission shall refer to the National Privacy Commission created by virtue of this act, no? So, pag when we say commission, we are not referring to the Human Rights Commission, something like that. No, no. If we are talking about this law, if we say commission, we are referring to the National Privacy Commission or the NPC, no? Which is, it has been created by virtue of this act. Okay. Letter B, consent of the data subject, no? Consent of the data subject. So may data subject, ha. Consent of the data subject refers to any freely given, yung person yun, ha? Yung person, no? For example, yes, you can process my information. So I have a consent. Refers to any freely given specific informed indication of will whereby the data subject agrees to the collection and processing of personal information about and or relating to him or her. Consent shall be evidenced by written, electronic, or recorded means. It may also be given on behalf of the data subject by an agent specifically authorized by the data subject to do so. Letter C, data subject refers to an individual whose personal information is processed. Okay, so ano na tayo, ha? Mayroon tayong commission, consent of the data, yung pagpapahintulot, no? Yun. Data subject refers to the, dapat nga nauna tong data subject, no? Bakit naging consent of the data subject, no? So dapat nauna tong data subject. Ako lang, ha? Nauna tong data subject kasi anyway, ano nila, yung data subject refers to an individual whose personal information is processed. So each of us can be considered a data subject, no? Okay. So direct marketing refers to communication by whatever means of any advertising or marketing material which is directed to particular individuals. Okay, so yun. Filing system refers to any act of information relating to natural or juridical persons to the extent that although the information is not processed by equipment operating automatically in response to instructions given for that purpose, the set is structured either by reference to individuals or by reference to criteria relating to individuals in such a way that specific information relating to a particular person is readily accessible. Okay? Ayan. Letter F, information and communication systems. System refers to a system for generating, sending, receiving, storing, or otherwise processing electronic data, messages, or electronic documents, and includes the computer system or other similar device by or which data is recorded, transmitted, or stored, and any procedure related to the recording, transmission, or storage of electronic data, electronic message, or electronic document. Okay, now letter G, personal information, no? Refers to any information whether recorded in a material form or not, from which the identity of an individual is apparent or can be reasonably and directly ascertained by the entity holding the information, or when put together with other information would directly and certainly identify an individual. Letter H, personal information controller refers to a person or organization who controls the collection, holding, processing, or use of personal information, including a personal or organization who instructs another person or organization to collect, holds, process, use, transfer, or disclose personal information on his or her behalf. The term excludes, no? A person or organization who performs such function as instructed by another person or organization. Number two, an individual who collects, holds, processes, or uses personal information in connection with the individual's personal, family, or household affairs. Okay. Personal information processor, no, refers to any natural or juridical person qualified to act as such under this act to whom a personal information controller may outsource the processing of personal data pertaining to a data subject. Letter J, processing refers to any operation or any set of operations performed upon personal information, including but not limited to the collection, recording, organization, storage, updating, or modification, retrieval, consultation, use, consolidation, blocking, erasure, and or destruction of data. Okay. Letter K, privileged information refers to any and all forms of data which under the rules of court and other pertinent laws constitute privileged communication. Sensitive personal information refers to the personal information. This is like your PII or personally or personable identifiable information or personal identifiable information. Depends on the authors kasi. Okay, number 1, about an individual's race, ethnic origin, marital status, age, color, and religious, philosophical, or political affiliations. Bakit kaya, guys, this can be a sensitive information? Because if you disclose this, no, maybe there is a chance for you to be discriminated, no? So for example, yung political affiliations, no? Ayan. Okay? Yung political affiliations, for example, 'di ba? Bakit po kaya yung mga mga BBM and Sara last election, bakit sila hesitant to reveal, no, their choice, no? Because we have a culture of discrimination, no? Mayayaman yung mga mga pinkish, no? Yung mga pink individuals, something like that. So mayayaman yun. So they have sometimes pwedeng i-cancel culture, di ba? Pwedeng i-discriminate. Meron silang listahan, no? I-discriminate nila. Something like that. Okay? So that's why it's very sensitive about an individual's health, education, genetic, or sexual life of a person or to any proceeding for any offense committed or alleged to have been committed by such person, the disposal of such proceedings, or the sentence of any court in such proceedings. Okay? Number 3, issued by government agencies peculiar to an individual, which includes but not limited to social security numbers, previous or settlement rent health records, you know, licenses or its denials, suspension or revocation, and tax returns, and specifically established by an executive order or an act of Congress to be kept classified. Okay, scope. This act applies to the processing of all types of personal information and to any natural and juridical person involved in personal information processing, including those personal information controllers and processors who although not found or established in the Philippines, use equipment that are located in the Philippines, or those who maintain an office, branch, or agency in the Philippines, subject to the immediately succeeding paragraph, provided that the requirements of Section 5 are complied with. This act does not apply to the following: information about any individual who is or was an officer or employee of a government institution that relates to the position or functions of the individual, including the fact that the individual is or was an officer or employee of the government institution, the title, business address, and office telephone number of the individual, the classification, salary range, and responsibilities of the position held by the individual, and the name of the individual of the document. Yeah. Okay, so yeah. All right, information, letter B, information about an individual who is or was performing service under contract for a government institution that relates to the services performed, including the terms of the contract and the name of the individual given in the course of the performance of those services. Information relating to any discretionary benefit of a financial nature, such as the granting of a license or permit given by the government to an individual, including the name of the individual and the exact nature of the benefit. Personal information processed by journalistic, artistic, literary, or research purposes. Letter E, information necessary in order to carry out the functions of public authority, which includes the processing of personal data for the performance of by the independent central monetary authority and law enforcement and regulatory agencies of their constitutionally and statutorily mandated functions. Nothing in this act shall be construed as to have amended or repealed Republic Act number 1405, otherwise known as the Secrecy of Bank Deposits Act, Republic Act 6, otherwise known as Foreign Currency Deposit Act, and Republic Act number 9510, otherwise known as Credit Information System Act. Okay? Letter F. Ang haba ng ano, no? Teka lang. Ayan, malapit na po. Yeah. Letter F. Information necessary for banks and other financial institutions under the jurisdiction of the Independent Central Monetary Authority or Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas to comply with Republic Act number 9510 and Republic Act number 9160 as amended, otherwise known as the Anti-Money Laundering Act and other applicable laws. Letter G. Personal information originally collected from residents of foreign jurisdictions in accordance with the laws of those foreign jurisdictions, including any applicable data privacy law, which is being processed in the Philippines. Guys, maraming data privacy laws, not only here in the Philippines, but around the world. Actually, yung sa Europe, yung isa sa mga pinakamahigpit na data privacy laws. Okay, Section 5. Protection afforded to journalists and their sources. Nothing in this act shall be construed as to have amended as repealed the provisions of Republic Act number 53, which affords publishers, editors, or duly accredited reporters of any newspaper, magazine, or periodical of general circulation protection from being compelled to reveal the source of any news report or information appearing in the said publication which was related in any confidence to such publisher, editor, or reporter. Extraterritorial application. This act applies to an act done or practice engaged in and outside of the Philippines by an entity if the act, practice, or processing relates to personal information about a Philippine citizen or a resident. The entity has a link with the Philippines and the entity is processing personal information in the Philippines, or even if the processing is outside the Philippines, as long as it is about Philippine citizens or residents such as, but not limited to the following. Okay, a contract is entered in the Philippines, a juridical entity unincorporated in the Philippines but has a central management and control in the country, and an entity that has a branch, agency, office, or subsidiary in the Philippines, and the parent or affiliate of the Philippine entity has access to personal information. The entity has other links in the Philippines such as, but not limited to, the entity carries on business in the Philippines and the personal information was collected or held by an entity in the Philippines. All right. Okay, so medyo ano lang ha. Next time, let's stop sharing. So next time we will be discussing about the chapter 2, no, of this particular act, no? So hanggang dito na lang po. Thank you very much po and have a safe day and ano pa rin tayo, stay safe pa rin tayo everyone. Thank you very much. Bye-bye po. God bless po.